Welcome back to another episode of Athlete POV. We're sitting down Ariel Young, North Carolina women's basketball player. What's going on?
Just practice, spring workouts. It's post game, so everybody's just working on their game right now. Um, I'm very proud of everybody and the jumps they've made. So it's just development at this point.
Right, and now you mentioned in the off season. What's like your morning routine like now in the off season?
Since we go from 20 hours back down to 8-hour weeks, it's a lot less like strenuous workouts. It's a lot more, hey, get the skill development that you need. And then we pretty much go into weights right after that. So it's a lot of individual work. It's a lot of small groups. It's a lot of focusing on the areas that you need to work on. So yeah, it's a lot of that. Usually we do that after class. Usually my classes are in the morning. So like 8 to like 12-ish is the time that everybody has class. Right after that, we usually have practice or we have weights right after class, which is around like 2:30. And after that, we either have study hall or, we do whatever you need to do for school. So that's really like the basic setup after the postseason.
Got it. And you mentioned how you're working on a lot of stuff that you personally need to work on. Everyone on the team needs to work on stuff that they like specifically need to work on. How big does accountability play into that?
Definitely a huge aspect of it, just because like, you know, I mean, the coaches have a big say on what you need to work on, but ultimately, like, our coaches are very, very open to what you want to work on and what you want to get better at. So I feel like besides the workouts that the coaches put you through, also working on those things on your own, like our coaches, like really get on to us about getting our own work in if we really want to get better at something. And like our whole team is very, very good at that. You always see people coming in early mornings, late nights, getting their shots in, getting their work in. It's a good environment to be in, but accountability definitely takes a big part of that because ultimately it's you that wants to get better.
Right.
So.
And when you say like how you're trying to improve on like your specific thing, I'm assuming that's like the basketball game itself, like whether it's a type of shot, whether it's you need to get stronger, whether you need to eat right better, like that. So what's something that you're specifically working on now, and what's like a goal for you that you try to hit on every day with what you're working on?
It's interesting that you asked me that question because I'm actually injured, actually.
Right.
So right now, the focus that, I mean, at least in my point of view, is just getting back healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I got injured in September 22nd of last year, right before preseason. I had to wait to get surgery because of swelling. I had surgery November 10th. So I've just been doing the rehab practice.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not really, it's kind of hard to like have a goal in mind because like the ultimate goal is just like to be back in the swing of things.
Right.
But about being injured is just pretty much like taking it one day at a time, like celebrating the little goals, like, hey, I improved in this jump, I improved in this movement, I improved in strength in this from this time to this time. Just the little thing. So personally for me, I would just think that like me getting stronger, because ACL rehabs are something else. Like they're a long process. So just getting stronger, just
Right.
making sure that you get your movements down, get your mechanics down.
Right.
That's base.
Yes, I want to apologize for being a little insensitive there about like trying to like work out if you're injured. I was trying to get into that, but I guess I might have just reorganized the questions wrong. But of course, with injuries, it's all different. Your outlook, trying to get better, is definitely the main goal, obviously, with any injury. So then, part of what I wanted to ask next was, what advice would you give to someone that might be injured, like yourself in this situation, and how do you approach, the small wins like you mentioned?
Um, I think ultimately, like I've always had a good support system here. The coaching staff, the training staff, our strength conditioning staff, they have helped me so much through this journey. Just like making sure I have a positive outlook because it's very hard to like kind of sink into a hole. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people kind of just kind of sink and like get really
Right. It's
negative, which
definitely
is
really
really
easy
easy
to
to
do
do.
that.
Yeah. So with the support staff that I have, they've really turned my outlook on pretty much seeing it as, just a bump in the road that you have to do. There's always going to be bumps in the road, it's basketball. Like, there's always going to be hiccups. Like, the plane's never going to
Nothing is cakewalk.
Nothing is a cakewalk. So, like, literally, like, seeing this injury as something that I just need to work through and get better, because, the coaches know that I would do anything to, like, make this team better. And also, like, just embracing a different role on the team. Like, I had to be the cheerleader. I had to be the positive outlook. Like, I need to be the person that could answer a question if somebody needed a question. Like, I was still there in practice. I was still watching the film. So still being engaged in, like, the games and, like, my teammates was, like, the biggest role I had to put on to still be positive and still feel like I'm part of the team, And my teammates also did a good job with me, just making sure that they saw me and they felt my energy and I was still there and presence, even though I'm not physically playing on the court.
Of course.
So
yeah, and
that's what I would say about that.
It's so like easy to like fall into like a whole like a depressive stage when you can't like directly affect the game, But as you said, how you have to like adapt to your circumstance of now I got to be like the cheerleader. I still got to do everything I would do if I'm playing it, but adapt to what you can control. So that's definitely really important, and I commend you for that. Now, on a more personal side, right? Your family, a pretty athletic history. What is some of the biggest advice they have given you?
Well, being a coach's kid, my dad has been coaching for about 25, 26 years now. I'm 22, so all my life he's been a coach. One of the things that I appreciate about my father and the things that he's taught me was just, putting the work in. That's pretty much it, Like, if you get in what you put out, So, like, if I'm, and it's not just basketball, it's just, like, in life. If I have an assignment that I need to do, like, put the work in so you can get out of it what you put in. You know what I mean? And that's just something that I've kind of just instilled in every aspect of my life. And in a way, that's how my dad taught me life lessons, And just through the game of basketball, just learning how to work hard, how to make connections with people, how to problem solve, and it's not even just one thing that he taught me. He just taught me so many things just from basketball. And, my mother as well. My mother played in the Olympics. She played in the Pan Am Games. Like, she's a Hall of Famer at Auburn. Like, my mom has been in so many levels of basketball. And one of the things that I got from her is just be consistent. Like, consistency is key. Like, if you want things to turn out the way you want them, you have to be consistent in all the things that you need to do to get there, So.
Of course. And you mentioned how your father was like, just do the simple things. It's like a simple formula of how to, be great. Put in the hard work and you'll get what you put into. You'll get out what you put into it. And that's definitely so simple but so effective. One of the key things that our company Athletic Minds really stands for is something that your mom said: consistency is key. Because over time, once you build up, like, you get the ball rolling, like consistent action every day, the minor things, it just builds up into now what the new normal for your life or anyone's life, whatever they want to do, So it's definitely really important. And I'm sure they've had a big impact on just the way you live your life, athletics or not,
Yes.
And now, one of the next things I wanted to mention was with school now. How do you think that your major sets you up for what you want to do later in life?
Yes. I'm in sports administration, so the focus on that is pretty much like being in like a leadership role in college athletics or any athletics, like being the person that, sets up students for tutoring, set up students to be in the best position you can be for a student athlete in any athletic department. And I feel like with my father technically being in sports administrative side,
right,
or being involved with the sports administrative side, I have a different perspective, and I know how the dynamics work a little bit between student athletes and then the sports administrative side. So, like, I first got like introduced as a child,
right,
pretty much. So
all your life.
So that's why I really wanted to be in it. In terms of like how it affects my future, I've always wanted to stay in sports. I love being in sports. Like, if I'm not playing, I want to be around it. So that was the main reason why, but also like being in a position to make somebody else's college experience even better than mine. I've had a great college experience. Got to meet so many people in college sports just from playing, but being one of those people that a college athlete can talk to and make their experience better, I feel like that is something that I'm going to enjoy for the rest of my life.
Right, so, and when you say that, you realize how it's bigger than just yourself. You know, like you mentioned how you want to make an impact on other people. And I guess I can say that sort of similarly for when I started this brand, Athletic Minds, and this podcast. 2 years ago we started it, and the podcast was just about a couple months ago. But having played football and baseball in high school myself, this is my new avenue to stay in sports per se, right?
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, sports it's a hobby, right? But once you get like obsessed with it, like it's something that you can't really get away from too easily without it still affecting you. So I feel like that's definitely important, and we can relate in that aspect. Trying to talk to people. These podcasts help other athletes definitely, like what college athletes like yourself saying, the advice you guys give. So about 45 or 46 episodes in, definitely an impactful thing that I can say I started. So that's a pretty cool aspect as well. But go more about yourself now. Who would you say are some of your biggest basketball role models aside from your parents?
Besides from my parents, wow. I would probably say Magic Johnson, like especially how he came into the game. Like my dad used to watch like really old clips of like the Larry Bird and Magic matchups all the time, and like it was just such a prominent era in basketball. But basketball isn't basketball without Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Like
set the standard.
They were in the finals. They were in the finals for the NBA for like what 8-9 years. Like it's crazy, but just like how he came into the game and just switched everything up, being this big point guard, and like how he passed and how he moved. He was just in his own league. So that's definitely somebody that I would definitely say I look up to basketball wise.
Absolutely, and different generations change the game every 10, 20 years. But when Magic and Larry Bird were like in the league and dominant their times, something never seen before. So obviously something people remember the rest of their life and can set the standard for like how people play the game for years to come. And obviously, as you said, influenced yourself. So there you go.
Yeah.
Now a little bit more on for you, your backstory in college athletics. You transferred from Michigan to North Carolina, right?
Yep.
What was the backstory behind transferring, and why was UNC the fit for you?
One of the things that I made sure that I had the second time I, got recruited was making sure that like my coaches and especially my head coach was somebody that, I related to personally, and also that the supporting staff was going to be there for me. You know what I mean? Just having that environment and knowing that you can go up to their office whenever you want, and it's going to be very insightful information and insightful conversation. That's something that I really looked at. I transferred in Coach Banghard's very first year, and I knew from the way Coach Banghard talked, and like I knew that she was going to change, the culture around here, and I knew that she was going to be a coach that demanded greatness from everybody that she brought in, and I was the very first person that she brought in, so I was just honored for her to like want me to be there. And I feel her energy, and I feel how she cares so much about her players. I feel how much she cares about this program and the people that are in it, and you have to love Coach Courtney Banghard. You have to, because she's just one of those coaches that she's gonna make a historical impact on North Carolina, even after I'm not playing. And then the supporting staff, Coach Wall, Coach Joe, Coach Icy, like our 3 assistant coach are people that I'm gonna have relationships for the rest of my life with, no matter what. And even though it's about basketball, like that's important.
Family seems like a big theme here. What you're trying to get at for like what you're looking for in a program, and I'm sure like you just mentioned, you're there now with a new family that really like has the good supporting staff. So definitely something that all athletes, whatever recruiting process they're going through, should look for.
Yep.
All right. Let's transfer over to maybe like a lighter side of topics here. A little bit about yourself too. Tell me about your cat, Sebastian.
Yeah, Sebastian. Okay. I got my cat last year, like the beginning of May, late April. it was funny because I was looking for a cat like in the shelter, but then I tried to go on Craigslist, and I actually saw this dude handing out free kittens, and I was like, okay, is this legit? And he was like, yeah. And he actually recognized who I was. He was like, are you on the women's basketball team? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, wow. And like, he was from Florida too, so that was really funny. So I get to the dude's house like a week later. He was like, yeah, just pick him up there. And then it came in this little box, and I was like, oh, here's Sebastian. I got him at like a month old. So like, he was super, super tiny when I got him.
Wow.
And then I named him Sebastian because Ariel and Sebastian.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a little staker.
Gotcha. The dog I have, his name is Foxy. He was a little rescue dog as well from actually a kill shelter from Kentucky that we rescued him from. So that was it was pretty cool too. I guess kind of relate there.
Yeah.
But yeah, animals are definitely such like cool companions, right?
Yeah, especially because like I live by myself. Like I'm a very like private person, so I really like having my own space. But it's really fun to have like a little thing in your house that just wanders around and just happy that you're home, and you know.
Absolutely. All right, different topic. If we could, well, not we. If you could go to dinner with two people, dead or alive, who are you going with? Where are you going? What are you ordering?
Okay, two people. Maya Angelou, just so I can pick her brain because her poems are wonderful. And then my grandpa also loves. Oh, my grandpa and Maya Angelou. My grandpa loves poems. My grandpa used to read Langston Hughes poems, so like he just loves poems in general. So I would take my grandpa and Maya Angelou. Wherever we go, where we go? Probably pizza. Probably get some pizza somewhere. Maybe go to IP3 on Franklin Street. Maybe that. What am I ordering? I'm probably ordering like 3 slices of pizza. Probably like with like some chicken and like some spinach and like extra cheese. So yeah.
Solid. But now follow up to that. You think that would fit into their diet as well?
My grandpa most definitely. Why did you do that? I don't know.
Hey, if you're taking them out, I'm sure it'll be a good time either way.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's just about all I had here. Do you have anything else you want to add that we didn't hit on at all?
I would just say that like to anybody like or any student athlete that's trying to get to college, like I would just say if that's your goal and that's what you want to do, like just make sure that you're putting everything you can in it to it. Like if you need a trainer, go get a trainer. If you need to train by yourself, find a gym. You know, don't let so and so obstacles get in your way because more than likely if you put your mind to it, you know, those obstacles are not going to be a problem. You know,
right.
And I would just say your journey is your journey. You know, a lot of people, you know, they focus on the destination, not how you get there. You know, and it may seem hard and it may have ups and downs, but you just have to believe that, you know, God put you in that situation for a reason. And, you know, God put you in your path and put the people that He put in your life for a reason. So I feel like if you take that philosophy on getting to college or even after college, getting to the pros, like just in my situation, your journey is your journey.
Absolutely. So. And something I can relate to that is everyone's like step 1 is different, and you can't compare someone's step 1 to someone else's step 20, you know? So exactly. And your own journey you also mentioned, definitely something that's important, and not everyone really looks at it. Like the destination is always like, you know, the big prize, the big picture, but the journey is really what you gotta fall in love with in order to, you know, get there. So really important for what you just said, and thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate your time. I'm sure our audience would really, is really going to get a lot out of this, and we're looking forward to see what you can do next year, you know, and in years to come.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Have a great rest of your night, or day, really, so it's early. Have a great rest of your day, and once again, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.